A short tour guide for the new pilgrim. If you're like me, the idea of taking up the Commedia is intimidating. Don't panic. I am a journalist, not a scholar. What I know about art and literature could barely fill a pamphlet. But if I can read Dante, absorb his words and ideas, and be changed by his verse, so can you. Just as it is helpful to know something about Dante's life to get the most out of the Commedia, it is also helpful to understand a little about the ideas that inform the poem. I'm not going to bore you with theology or literary theory, but there are a few things you need to know at the start of this journey. You do not have to accept Dante's theological or moral beliefs to learn from the Commedia, but you do have to know basically what they are. The Commedia is an unsurpassed expression of the Christian imagination, and most importantly of the Roman Catholic vision, as Dante was a devout Roman Catholic. The Mind of the Middle Ages. The poem assumes a universe created by a loving God who desired to live in unbroken communion with humankind, the pinnacle of creation. Adam, the first man, broke that communion through disobedience, committing the first sin, which greatly impaired but did not wholly sever all of humanity's relationship with its Creator. In Dante's vision, God became incarnate as Jesus Christ, who suffered, died, and rose again to defeat sin and death. Through faith in him, fallen man can receive the grace to be healed of his sinful condition, and after death be fully united with God for eternity. Those who reject Christ with their hearts thereby choose themselves over God, and after death spend eternity separated from him. Catholics coming to Dante for the first time are often startled by Dante's ferocious criticism of the Church. Note, however, that the poet does so in the mode of a biblical prophet, as an act of love. He believes that Jesus Christ established the Roman Catholic Church as the ordinary means of salvation, and that no degree of clerical corruption can alter that fact. As much as he loathed the despotic Pope Boniface VIII, an arch-villain in the Commedia, Dante affirmed that he was a legitimate pope, and that the papacy was a divinely instituted office. For non-Catholic Christians, the realm of purgatory, traversed in the second of the Commedia's 3 books, is theologically problematic. In Catholic theology, purgatory, which is a middle passage between the mortal life and paradise, is a place where the souls of the saved whose repentance was incomplete dwell temporarily, to be purged of the sinful tendencies that render them unready to withstand the brilliant glory of God. You don't have to accept the doctrine of purgatory to appreciate its symbolic meaning here. In Dante, purgatory represents the earthly life, which requires a constant struggle against our sinful nature in order to open our souls up ever more to God's grace. Atheists or agnostic readers might find it a challenge to work through the religious language and symbolism, but Dante's conceptual grammar conveys truths about human nature that are universally applicable. Hell is a dark and loveless place of absolute egotism. Heaven is filled with love, light, and the complete absence of ego. Purgatory is life as we experience it, a never-ending contest between love and hate, altruism and selfishness, good and evil, and the way we elect to respond to these challenges matters. The philosopher Jean-Paul Sartre taught that because free will is part of the human condition, we are responsible for the choices we make. There was no heaven or hell at the end of life, as far as the atheist and existentialist thinker was concerned, but he shared Dante's belief in the ultimate meaning of moral choice. The best strategy for all contemporary readers is the one suggested by Dante translator Charles Singleton: to adopt